Are we Earth 894? The invasion's begun. Who can you trust? Can I trust you? Can you trust me? Can I trust this guy I'm doing a podcast with? Can I trust myself? I don't know, man. Things are looking green, but no, nothing mean. Catch my drift. If you don't know what we're going to be talking about today, obviously you've maybe got blipped and you came back and you're disoriented like our favorite paranoid spy, former Director S.H.I.E.L.D., and all the above. This is Earth 894. We are a Marvel SKRULL podcast, and we're going to be talking about everything SKRULL related in our SKRULL search. We're looking for them. We're on SKRULL watch. But we're going to be talking about the very first episode of Secret Invasion because it has dropped officially as of this week. And there's a lot of stuff that happened in 45-ish minutes, not counting credits, that was bonkers. And so I can't wait to talk more about it. But let me introduce you to my other half here, who I believe is who they say they are. I don't know. Let's find out. It's Louie Tonarini. Or is it?
If I was able to shapeshift, I wouldn't look like this. Let's just put it that way.
I was going to ask you, what is something only you would know? But I forgot they can take minds, man. They can get in your head, man.
I was going to ask about that. Is that like their loophole from the Captain Marvel movie? Now they can like take your entire brain or whatever?
Yeah, you know, I haven't rewatched Captain Marvel in a while, but I did recall like that similar technology from when they're doing her little brain thing. So maybe it has evolved. I mean, it's been 30 years, but who knows? There's a couple things in here that I definitely had to clear up on my rewatch of the episode that was a little bit contingent and confusing to me until I heard the dialogue again. Because I watched this at 2 a.m. when it dropped, and I finished it, and then, you know, I knocked out, and I didn't remember what was what. Or did I watch it? I don't know. I don't know anymore, Louie. I'm going nuts. I'm going insane. My cat's looking at me, and I'm starting to wonder if that's really her. Is she flirking? Is she really missing an eye? We'll find out. So, Louie, before we go into my paranoia, tinfoil hat theories, and talk about everything that happened in this crazy, crazy first episode of the series, how about we warm up a little bit? You know, it's super hot outside, so blasting the AC. But I still got to warm up a little bit because I'm a little chilly in the joints and everything. Got to loosen up and everything. So let's talk about what's been going on with each other. In this segment, we like to refer to as MCU for you. Louie, if it's really you, what has been MCU for you?
That was beautiful. So I was doing laundry the other day, and you're going to hear a bit of a, what's the word I'm looking for? Like a repetition here. A theme.
Okay.
There's a bit of a theme. I was doing laundry the other day, and I decided, you know what? I haven't watched anything in a while, and I'm flipping through, and I was like, yeah, I'll turn on Moon Knight. And I watched the first half of the first episode of Moon Knight. And that show still sucks, man.
Dude. I had a feeling it was going to be a letdown. After a while, I don't think it ages well.
I was just like, can literally anything happen in this show for the love of God? I still love the later skaters. Gators. But he's just, Oscar Isaac is like, he's just letting me down left and right. I feel like I was so excited for Moon Knight. I don't know anything about Star Wars. I don't know how he is as Poe Dameron, but Moon Knight, I was just like, this had, like, it's not his fault, but it just had potential to be so much better. And then, as we talked about Across the Spider-Verse, I just thought he was just a big jerk the whole time. And you said, yeah, he's supposed to be a jerk. But I was like, yeah, but he's supposed to be Spider-Man and saving stuff.
That's why 9, man.
But that's neither here nor there. The reason I watched the first half is because halfway through, Henry came in. And he said, I don't want to watch this. And I said, cool, then get the hell out of my room. And then he said, no, turn on Spider-Man. And I said, okay. So I turned on, have you ever seen the Spectacular
I
Spider-Man
actually started
show?
watching a couple episodes not too long ago, actually.
We watch it a lot. Spectacular Spider-Man. We watched a bunch of that while I did laundry. Also, I was doing laundry another day. Shocker, I know. And this was after the kids went to bed. So I knew I had some time. And I watched I flipped over to the dark side here and I watched Shazam! Fury of the Gods. And it was a movie. I enjoyed it, but it wasn't like the best movie of all time.
You know, it's funny.
So
I watched it,
what's
quote
up?
unquote, watched it. I put it on. I watched the first 5 minutes, and then I literally, I think, was on my couch scrolling them around on my phone for the entirety of that movie. And then I realized, oh God, this movie's over.
You got to put your phone away.
I couldn't, man. I was bored, and I
Yeah,
think it was right before my move too. So I think I was doing something.
You got to treat it like you're in a movie theater.
Well, people are on their phones in the movie theater, apparently.
Any movie now. Yeah, well, not you. Any movie now, the first time you have to turn off your phone, or you have to like treat it like you're in the theater. Otherwise, it's not going to be as good. So I was really invested in Mary for reasons. And I was really invested in the youngest one.
I have no idea who any of those people are. And like I said, I put it on and I just went off into Neverland.
The only problem, well, here's the thing. I'll give my little thought and then we'll move along since this isn't Marvel. But obviously Billy Batson's a little kid. Well, now he's almost 18 in this movie. All the other kids are kids. And then they say Shazam, and then they become like these big, strong, buff grown-ups, and they all have the powers of all these gods, yada yada yada. They fight crime, so on and so forth. Problem is, Billy's older sister Mary got recast in this movie, and I don't know the actress's name, but she is.
Did she really get recast?
And yes,
didn't even notice.
And when they Shazam her, she's like this actress, and then when they go back to being kids, same actress. They don't even like it's not even a thing. You know how like sometimes when he's trying to hide, he says Shazam and becomes a little kid, so people don't know that it's him. She would not have that opportunity because she would say Shazam and become herself, but without powers, which I thought was a little dumb.
Why did the movie not do good at the box office? Blah, blah, blah. Oh, well.
I would have went to see it if I didn't have kids. I always say I conserve my my movie time for Marvel movies. You know, you got to pick and choose your battles. True. You know, the next one is Kraven the Hunter, right?
I think so. Yeah, that trailer dropped in. Did you watch it? Dude, it's yeah, if you watch that trailer, the Red Band one, it's like 2.5 minutes. It straight up shows you the entire movie. Needless to say, it's a Sony villain movie of a Spider-Man villain. And we know how those have been performing. I think it's going to be better than Morbius, but
so it's going to be lit, is what you're saying.
What do you usually refer to things as? Dog water?
Dog water is a thing that I've said. Yes, I got that from.
So
Richard.
This is probably going to be.
No, he's cool, man.
Yeah, he's cool.
Taylor.
But this movie, man, it's
Johnson. It's going to be cool.
I don't know. I don't want to sway either way. We'll go see it because we are simps, and you know, it's not. It could be worse. It could be the Meg 2 or something. But it's so. There's so many questionable things in that trailer that I'm like, what the fuck was this? What are they thinking?
I just keep seeing the little clip of the spiders coming down from the tree.
Like, it looks cool, but I mean, if you see how he behaves in the rest of the movie, it just doesn't make any fucking sense.
He's Kravenov. He's going to be awesome. I liked Let There Be Carnage. I did. I remember when we saw it, and you were like, what did you think? And I was like, that was fucking awesome. Everyone else was like, I thought it was a hot turd. I was like, you're a fucking hot turd.
It's like calling me hot shit.
So I like have Let There Be Carnage on DVD. Back in my day. I have it on Blu-ray, and I was like, I need to watch this. I've only seen it the one time. They put Venom on Disney Plus, but they didn't put the Carnage one. I want to see it again. So one day when I'm not being attacked by kids, I'm going to watch that again.
Nice, man.
Other than that, I bought a bookshelf because my Funko Pop collection is getting a little bit out of control, and I need to put it more in control with a bookshelf.
That's cool. Is it going to be in the basement, or is it going somewhere else in the house?
So my basement is like 1.5 inches too short, but it's a drop ceiling, so I might have to like figure out a way to give it the old heave, push it up a little bit.
Cut around it, man. That's what I would do.
Yeah. I don't want to be the most ghetto person of all time.
I'll just look flush.
No, it would look so bad if I did it.
Never say never.
But Devin, what's been MCU for you, my friend?
Oh boy. This is gonna sound funny. Snap date. I haven't really been playing a lot of Marvel Snap because I just haven't had the time. Given my move, I'm still like, as you can see, literally across the other side of the room there behind me on my shoulder. I still have a box that has random stuff I need to unpack, and I mean, there's a random power socket thing on top of my like cube container storage wall thing. But it's coming together, I got some more lights. I lit up more of my things, so it is looking more and more cozy and more what I want in this place. So, how does that pertain to anything Marvel related? Well, I've been having more time to just watch things. So I threw on a little Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. the other night when I was just trying to like relax after work and stuff, and that was great. And I am trying to figure out where to hang all my, various artwork and from Star Wars, Spider-Man, Marvel, everything. So I have a lot of wall space. So I'm hoping every time you see on this podcast here, you're going to see probably more of the stuff decorated. I mean, I got more lights and it's all green right now for scrolls. But I'm going to keep fleshing out. So it's been a good time. But aside from that, Marvel Snap is all Spider-Man stuff going on right now too. And I bought the season pass like a simp again. And I was playing a little bit and then I completely dropped off. So I'm kind of like, damn, am I in that phase where this game has already kind of gone into my backlog of just, I'll play it eventually. I don't feel like it today. I don't feel like it. Kind of sad. But if they bring scrolls into it some more, I mean, they already have the Super Scroll, but if they have some more scroll stuff after the Spider-Man season ends, hey, they're going to get my money again.
I do have to ask you, since you're talking about games, I know you're not done, but did you pre-order Spider-Man 2?
I was literally, so I was just in the middle of the day and I was like, I feel like I'm forgetting something. And then I saw an ad for the Spider-Man 2 pre-order. I was like, oh, that's today, isn't it? And it was in like 30 minutes from that time. So that's when you could also pre-order the Super Duper edition with the statue and everything. And I was getting ready. I got into a queue on Sony's website and all that. And then I was thinking about it. I'm like, but do I really want this? Do I really need this? That is like $200 and something. Do I need it? I'm like, where the hell would I even put that? And then I closed the tab and realized I'll just pre-order the digital deluxe version when it is a little bit closer to the release date. Because I just mainly want to make sure I get all those exclusive suits that you can only get in that edition. Just because the more options, the better. And that's significantly cheaper than the deluxe edition or the collector, blah, blah, blah. So I am looking forward to that. So to answer your question, no, I did not pre-order it. Did you pre-order the game at all?
Yeah. Well, you know this about me. I am the oldest 28-year-old of all time, right?
Explain.
And I have this thing where I want the game in my hands. And so I went to my local GameStop and I said, do you guys have like the digital version with all the extra suits and stuff that I can pre-order? And the guy was like, we just can do the standard version, but it comes with 2 extra suits. And I said, that's not what I want. And he said, oh, well, sorry. And I said, okay, I'll just take these Funko Pops then. And I got a Moon Girl for Henry, and I got a Spider Gwen for
Nice.
Brett. Yeah. I was kind of peeved.
Yeah, I'm surprised I don't have it.
No, I did not. I think it's a digital, like you said, digital deluxe.
Yeah. That would explain the title.
So they don't have it in.
Just hit me.
Yeah, it's fucking annoying. I think it's $70 for the game, $80 for the digital deluxe, and $250,000 for the statuette.
Yeah.
So to answer your question, I have not turned on my PlayStation 5 in like a month and a half or so. So no, I did not pre-order it yet, but I will as soon as I get to PlayStationing.
Why not PlayStation that play thing? Yeah, I feel you, man. I'm probably going to pre-order the deluxe edition or whatever, like 3 days beforehand. So we'll check back on all the Spider-Man stuff in October. Good times, man. Well, I am ready to talk about Secret Invasion. Let's hit it.
Whoa, you looking for this?
We did see him, that mysterious voice. Who is it? We did see Rhodey in the first episode of Secret Invasion. Now Louie.
Being a fucking snitch, my guy.
It's I think I see Rhodey as mainly just like the Boy Scout, you know? He's always been seen in the White House and politics and all that in uniform, and just kind of almost like a liaison or telling people what's up with the heroes and what's going on. But I don't know. He is the number one person probably people think is a SKRULL for the longest time, even before they even talked about doing Secret Invasion like that. So I'm curious to see what actually is revealed, if anything, with him this season. But I have a couple of theories on that. But before we go into everything, Louie, this episode, what was your first overall impression of what you saw?
Are you talking about my first impression, like after it was over, or at the very
after
beginning?
It was over, after the episode was done? What did you think?
So here's my hot take. We've discussed a little bit on the show before, so I know you've seen this trilogy of movies, but this first episode reminded me a lot of the Planet of the Apes movies. And you're like giving me what the hell are you talking about?
You've piqued my interest because I love that trilogy.
Caesar is like the leader of the apes, and he's like, we can work with the humans. Humans are fine. We're apes. And then, the other one, the mean one, I can't remember his name.
Yeah, I remember either.
But he was like, fuck the humans. This is our planet now. And then they fight and they has fight. Well, of course, that trilogy's over and we've only got one episode of this, so we don't know how it's going to happen. But it was very Planet of the Apes-y to me. I was just like, Talos is our Caesar.
It's kind of accurate, you know.
And the good looking guy is he is the mean ape.
Talking about Gravik.
Was the guy Gravik?
Well, Gravik is the name of the SKRULL.
I just want to call him Gellert.
I don't remember the one ape, their name, but yeah, Gravik. And I was trying to remember these names. That's why I definitely needed to rewatch it because they're already escaping me a little bit. For example, I mean, we have Gaia, who's Amelia Clark. Then we have Gravik, who's our big villain here. He looks like he's going to be a good villain if all pans out well here. Then we, of course, have Talos. And then we found out about his wife. It's pretty sad. She did.
Oh yeah, I don't remember her
Was
name
it
either.
Soren?
They all have weird. They all
I
have
think it was
weird
Soren.
names. She made a plant or something.
Yeah, it was just showing about that plant that it was able to adapt to the planet, kind of like a metaphor for the scrolls themselves. You know, they've been adapting to make Earth their home. When they mentioned earlier in the episode that Fury and Captain Marvel were supposed to help the scrolls find a new home, but 30 years later, it doesn't seem like they've been successful, or maybe they got put on the back burner, and that's part of the reason why those scrolls, younger ones they refer to, are the ones that have that kind of resentment towards Earth, and they're trying to cause this gigantic like population extinction level event between the humans. So, could that be why? I don't know. But going back to the original point, what was you said your hot take, but also what was mainly your impression of this? Because you don't seem like blown away by the first episode just yet, or not entirely sold on what we've seen.
For what it's worth, the mean ape's name was Koba.
Gotcha.
Koba. Koba. I just the whole scroll thing. I think you burned me out on it, Devin.
Don't say that.
Between the scrolls and the variants, I think I'm just done with them forever. No, I just watching. There's a few things that I called pretty easily. I was like, well, that's clearly this, and this
Like
is
what?
clearly that. Ross, I knew Ross was a scroll as soon as he was the first person you see in the show. I was like, oh, he's a scroll.
Okay.
And then the other thing that I knew immediately that Amelia Clark was going to be Talos's daughter. I don't know if that was a reveal when he saw her climbing up the ladder or whatever.
Well, if it wasn't for the press,
but I was like, oh yeah,
for the last couple of years that said that she's his daughter and everything, maybe. But
I haven't paid attention to any of the press, but I knew that pretty quickly. And the one I got wrong was at the very end of the episode when Skrull Gravik, yeah. I believe it was Gravik, but either way, it was Skrull Fury shot Hill. I thought Hill was going to be a Skrull, and I thought it was actual Fury. He was like, Hill, and then she started walking up. He knew that she was a Skrull, and so he shot her. Except I was just wrong on that one.
Yeah, man.
But that's okay.
I think that is partially why Talos' wife is just mentioned that she's dead, and we didn't get to see it or anything. So that way, there wouldn't be any doubt when Hill got shot. Her scroll was seen in Far From Home, her version, but now that she's out of the picture, that has to be the real Hill. I was really hoping, as soon as I saw her get shot, I was really, really hoping that was a scroll. I don't care who it was. I just hoped it wasn't our lovely, beautiful Maria Hill.
Yeah.
But nah, dude, she's R.I.P. and that still really bums me out. First episode, and then I'm like, wait, come on. And then in the credits, it shows special guest starring Colby Smulders. And I'm like, no, it's 100% she's gone, man. She is dead.
Yeah.
And she's one of the longest characters that we've had since phase 1 that's now out of the picture.
Yeah. What a waste of an actress. She was so cool. Robin Scherbatsky. But then, what did she do? The two movies I always get mixed up are Civil War and Age of Ultron. But I think it was Civil War. Doesn't she put on a helmet or something and she arrests Cap and Widow, and then she takes her helmet off and beats the shit out of the other guard or whatever in the back of the truck?
Oh, that probably was Civil War.
Does that sound like? It was either Civil War or it was Winter Soldier or it was Age of
Pretty sure it was Civil
Ultron.
War.
All those movies kind of blend together
Yeah.
after a while. But that was a bummer for sure, man. I don't know what Ben Mendelsohn looks like. Is Talos' human form just Ben
Yeah.
Mendelsohn?
Because he took
They
took
just-
that form of him back in Captain Marvel, because he was I don't know if he was the director at the time of Shield. I know he was above Fury, but that's where he took the form from or something. And then he's just stuck with it this whole time. So it is what it is. That's kind of the weird thing, is sometimes like,
I guess it's been a while since I've watched Captain Marvel
and
too.
I think that's just kind of the part that's sometimes confusing with these like scrolls that have been around for a while. I mean, there's not many, but just knowing like, well, if Talos has always been Ben Mendelsohn and everything, whatever happened to that character again, or did he die? I don't remember, to be honest. But the one thing that I had to go back and catch on second viewing was Everett Ross, because when they show him as a scroll and he's dead, he just fucking splats on that pavement. I thought to myself, there's no way he's been a scroll this entire time, because none of his actions, motives, beliefs, everything that we've seen from like Black Panther, especially, all that does not make sense if he's part of this scroll regime. So on my second watch, I noticed Hill says that Ross is imposter post his death and everything. And I was like, okay, cool. So he is alive, at least that we know of. So he's either going to show up later in this season and maybe he's, trapped this whole time, or maybe they just decided to mimic him without doing the whole like capturing the body. I don't know. But that made me feel a little bit better, because I was like, no way, don't make him a scroll. But that would have also been pretty crazy if he was a scroll this whole time. That'd have been two relatively important character deaths in one episode, which was pretty intense. So I'm glad one of them at least was a scroll, and one of them sadly wasn't with Hill, but it was nuts, man. Now, with the show itself so far, a lot of what we see of Fury, man, he's looking old, he's looking beat, and even Hill is kind of criticizing him, saying like, the Fury I know would always be 3 steps ahead, and you look like you can barely even like find your footing and all that. Do you feel like this is really Fury showing his age, and just he really has gotten, just his game is weak now, or do you think he's also being very deceptive with his actions so far?
Well, if I know Nick Fury, he is the 3 steps
Mhm.
ahead or whatever. Samuel L. Jackson, I believe he's 110 years old
He's
or
up
something
there, man.
like that. I think he's in his
He's born in 1948.
80s. Yeah, I'm not doing the math live. But he's old, and he just, I don't know. I think he's doing his thing. He shot that one scroll man, who also was clearly a scroll, right? Yeah. And I don't know. He was like, even in the Captain Marvel movie where he was young, he was still played by old Samuel L. Jackson. So he's never been like this young, spry chicken.
Mhm.
So I think he's just Fury. I think he's fine. Obviously, he doesn't have all of the resources that he usually would with Shield, or he can't just call Captain America anymore, or Tony Stark. They're both dead unless you count the moon. So he's just kind of doing his thing, man. We've never really seen Fury in his element. I've never watched Agents of Shield, but I assume
He's
he's
only
not
in
in
for
it.
like an episode and a half in the first season. That's it. Same with Maria Hill.
Yeah. So you don't really know what he does. He's just kind of doing his thing. keeping track. It seems like he's got an idea of what he's doing. One thing is he went and saw that lady and she's like, the Nick Fury I know would have never gotten captured by my men. You're getting too old and slow. And it's like, he even says, he's like, I tried to get captured by your men so I could come see you. And I was like, is that not obvious? Is that not clear?
It even puts that little like tracking thing on the owl's eye or whatever that bird statue is. So he's clearly up to something.
Oh, yeah. So I think Nick Fury's fine. I think he's doing Nick Fury stuff.
I kind of agree.
It was, I don't know. It was bothering me.
What's bothering you?
The whole, you're just old. Like he got told by like 9 people. He's like, you're old. You can't do this. You can't do anything. Also, another thing that annoyed me was just opens with him back on Earth, and everyone's like, hey, he's back. I didn't want to call you, but Talos said I had to. I'm like, how come we didn't get to see the space station at all?
I'd say that a lot for the Marvels.
It's like this big thing hovering over us.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty big in the Marvels.
I didn't see the thing for the Marvels either.
I guess the question with that is going to be when that movie takes place. Is it before this or after this? My guess is after. But, I mean, 2 totally different things too. So we'll see. Interesting enough, though. So it seems like when Rhodey is talking to, what is his face? The president at the time. When they're talking about like Fury's back on Earth, blah, blah, blah. And they're saying he's basically gone AWOL because he was supposed to be on Saber. I guess that makes me kind of wondering or begin to wonder, what is the U.S. affiliation with Sword and Saber and all that? From my understanding, Saber is part of Sword in the comics, but I don't know if the 2 are related now in the MCU. I mean, we still barely know about anything about Sword. They just showed WandaVision and do try to kill some kids. So it's kind of a lot is up in the air, and I'm hoping we get some more context on what the heck's going on. But the reason why I bring it up is because with Saber and everything, if that is actually like Earth sanctioned by the US government, I was totally just thinking that Saber was just Fury's own project. Like he launched 100% independently with the Skrulls. So it was completely separate from the US and let alone Earth. So that's something that kind of just piqued my curiosity a little bit. And then the whole thing with Fury's age and weakness and intellect and his moves and all that, I think it's kind of a 50-50 split here. I mean, we just talked about how he was able to still go into Fallsworth's place, kind of play dumb, but he even told her, like, no, I wanted to get captured. But I mean, Hill really does call him on his shit, when they're trying to play that chess game and everything. She's saying, hey, you just told me, I remember when you told me long ago that if you, it's okay to like step back if you can't handle it, sort of thing. And she's trying to imply the same thing to him. And he's kind of hesitant on their conversation, all that. But I mean, to kind of prove the point there that she had, I mean, if the Fury is that we know is always ahead with this just planning and strategic paranoia, I don't think Hill would have died. Because, the Skrulls, he even said it's still hard to recognize who they are and everything when they're impersonating someone. But I've really felt like he kind of dropped the ball here, and that's going to be partially why this is like very personal to him and what's really going to make him kind of get back on top or like peak Fury per se. But it just sucks that it's going to take a lot of deaths. I still think, Ari with this episode, I'm going to call it right now. Talos is going to die halfway through the season. And that's going to be Fury finally just kind of, you know what, fuck this shit. I'm taking Gravik out. Just me. I'm going in and probably, the help of Kira and everything. Or Gyra. And they'll go from there. Gaia.
I
was totally confusing fandoms for a second.
You're good. He just, I don't know. I don't think it was his fault. He got distracted because he found Gravik, lured him over. it was kind of cool watching him change
Mm.
over and over again with the stuff. So here's my question, and maybe it's something I'm just missing, but Hill was being impersonated by
Mm.
Talos's wife. Where was Hill at?
What do you mean?
Was she up at
Oh,
the space station with Fury? And then she just
that's a
came
good question.
back like it was no big deal after she died? Or like, Hill, why did they have a scroll being Hill in Spider-Man Far From Home if she was on
Maybe she
Earth?
was up with him the whole time, but then when the blip happened, it seems that that was both real Fury and real Hill that got blipped at the same time. And then maybe when they got back, she stayed on Earth, and then he just never came back, and he wanted to stay at the station. I mean, they're talking about how the blip changed him and affected him. So that'd be my headcanon. Will we actually get a true answer? I highly doubt it. I don't think they give a shit, to be honest. But it is kind of continuity purposes. It is a little confusing.
Yeah, I didn't understand that. That was something that I was struggling with. But no
It
biggie.
all comes together hopefully soon.
What did you think about the scroll safe haven there?
I like the idea that calling back to their just scroll biology and anatomy, that they can use these. Of course, it's Russian too, with the theme here. All these decommissioned and abandoned nuclear sites that doesn't affect them. That just sounds very cool and spy and espionage and everything. So I thought that was pretty sick. But what I wonder now is when they pull in all these people and they put them in those devices and everything, are the normal humans, are they going to, I guess they wouldn't die that fast with radiation. I don't know the science behind it all in current day, but I just wonder how long those humans can stay in those weird little like standing pods when their brains are being like taken under before they kind of are like, all right, well, this person's kind of done for, and kill them. And I assume these scrolls are not going to have any use for them or let these people go back out, like wipe a memory or something. I think they're just going to let them serve their purpose, kill them. All right, find a new vessel. And that's what's funny. When they bring in that one American, when they have the new recruit to like change the face and everything, and they call him, here's your vessel. I thought that was very much like humans are shit to us. And they also don't want to say, like, hey, here's your human, here's your person, here's your disguise. It's just, here's your vessel. It's very, just like, I forget the word. I'm blanking on the word right now, but it was very cool to see that level of just fuck these people. And so I'm here for the infighting of the scrolls. I'm curious to see how many scrolls we're going to see that aren't part of this regime and not trying to do all the corruption and secret espionage, and they're just actually going to try and fight back, or is it just going to be only Talos and eventually Gaia? I don't know.
So you said what happens to the vessels, and they're in like a nuclear power plant with all the radiation. Typical cartoons, comics, all that good stuff. What happens to people with the radiation?
They mutate.
They get mutate. And now they took this guy's mind and he can't remember the first half of his life? I don't know about you, man, but it sounds like we're getting Wolverine. We're getting him in this show. It's happening. He's going to fucking cut off Gravik's head with his claws. In the worst possible origin story for Wolverine, he was just some vessel for a Skrull that they threw into the nuclear waste, and he came out with long claws made of a metal that's not even a thing in the MCU yet.
That'd be hilarious.
Let's go, baby. We're getting Wolverine.
Well played. I lost my train of thought here for good reason.
I haven't I haven't
You
yelled that
haven't?
in a
That's what I
long
was thinking. I
time.
was like, oh,
It's been a
that's why I
while.
was wondering, like, what the hell is his face that Louie's doing towards me? I thought you were just trying to creep me out or something. But then when you brought up the mutate, I was like, oh shit.
No, I had a thought.
Good science, man.
What happens with the radiation? They get superpowers.
Oi. So this episode, we got to see a little bit more of Gaia and kind of get introduced to her and everything now that she's an adult. I'm kind of theorizing here. We're going to get maybe a flashback. At least I'm going to say, I hope we get a flashback to figure out what happened with her mother's death and the tie to Gravik and just like the Rebel Scroll kind of order. Because I still feel like, although it's not a major character, I think just the off-screen death, like, oh yeah, she died from these people, just serves a plot point. I already brought up my point about Hill, just so we have no doubt of it. But I still think it's kind of like you couldn't have shown something a little bit. But, we still have 5 episodes-ish to go. I can't remember if this is 6 or 8. I think this is 6. So I'm hoping we see a little bit more of that because I really want to see Gaia and Fury work together. But I want to see her really kind of put the pieces together, realize, I shouldn't have gone for these people. I thought it was a good cause, but they weren't, teen angst and all that. But I just don't want it to be like, okay, I'm good now because my dad died. But I feel like that's going to be the turning point.
I still don't think Talos is going to die. I don't know. I feel like he'll be in the Marvels, hanging out with Captain Marvel. Just to use him for one movie and then one part of a show and then one post-credit scene. Unless you have spoilers,
Well,
I don't know.
I mean, all I was going to say is that in the trailer for the Marvels, I don't think he's spotted once.
It's because he's a Skrull, Devin. He's spotted everywhere.
Fair enough. That's my kind of reasoning behind most things. So I can't argue that one. Part of this though, I was going to say real quick. This one might be kind of a spoiler. I'm not sure how I want to approach this, so I'm just going to preface it like this. There's a character that's shown in this first episode that I'm 100% certain something's going to happen to them. Ergo, they're going to be killed in this show because there's another character that is actually established and well known that's going to be shown up in the Captain America movie, who is kind of taking their spot from the sounds of it. So
talking about the president.
Yeah. Because apparently now played by Harrison Ford, Ross is supposed to be Thunderbolt Ross and everything is supposed to be the president of the United States. And that takes place after Secret Invasion. So unless there was a new election and maybe this guy already served 2 terms or only did 1 and just going to get reelected, my guess is he's probably going to get fucking killed.
I think Gravik's going to kill him.
Probably. I mean, there's got to be some sort of tension that's going to even be more of a deception piece too. That's going to be very heightened senses or tension, all that, where maybe it's Fury who shows killed the president or someone else is being an imposter. I don't know. But my guess, throwing it down right now, my big, if he was here, Mr. Marvel prediction is that the president's going to die. And that's going to be how Ross becomes the president of the USA.
I think it's weird that Gravik has this following, this big thing, this regime. He's taken over the world. We're the Skrulls. We're going to take over this world. But Talos is just Talos.
What do you mean?
Right? Is Talos the only Skrull that's not like, yeah, let's take over the world?
No, they said somewhere in the earlier half of the episode saying that a lot of like younger, like the angry youth, I think is what they called them, of the Skrulls, decided to kind of like split off and they got, tired of this and they really want to fight back and just, they're not doing things right. And I mean, we see a lot of people in these sanctuaries and all that. It also kind of sounds like when they have that one guy who shows up at the gates of the scroll hideout and everything, and then guy eventually kind of like brings them to a door, and then he doesn't advance, but she does, and he's asking like, "Oh, what is that?" I wonder how many of these scrolls actually just live in these hidden uh, nuclear power plants and all that, and they don't know what's actually going on. I'm sure they have to, or at least have some context, but who's to say until we see a little bit more of the show unfold. But I wouldn't think that he's literally the only scroll who doesn't agree. They said he got kicked off the scroll council. So maybe there is evidence to support that there's a very small handful of people who are not with this rebellion. But I think I need to rewatch it again, or we'll find out a little bit more.
I guess. Well, I watched like a little. I watched a video about it. These 81
Mhm.
Easter eggs or whatever, where he like kind of breaks down the episode and explains it. But I still just, I don't know. I guess the reason I ask is because you see, like Gravik's got this little army, and he's got these people that follow him, and he blows up the festival, the Unity Festival, and then Talos, it's just him. It's just him, Fury, and Hill. Fury and Hill are humans. Talos by himself, and Talos is kind of going through the same thing as Fury, where he's old and he can't keep up with these younger Skrulls just beating the shit out of him. And I'm wondering why Talos doesn't have like a crew or an army or anything.
Well, I guess
That's all.
goes back to just him getting kicked off the council. Maybe just more people are buying into Gravik's bullshit, and maybe that's why. And he did. I mean, also he did say he's not even like 40 in human years, so he's still kind of youngish. But at the same time, your point's true. The other people are much younger than him either way. The other point is that with his wife dead and his daughter missing and just everything that they're trying to take on, I think maybe he's just mentally and partially physically exhausted, man. I mean, that sounds very lonesome, and who do you trust and all that? But it just sounds like he's just going through a really tough time and trying to like keep his shit together. And I did like this that part where they were trying to um meet with that like art dealer or whatever, the one scroll, and they ended up like killing him. But when Fury shoots and kills that dude, or I should say that scroll, he goes to help up Talos, and Talos just doesn't even, he's like, no, I said no. He didn't want to be responsible for another scroll's death. So like, poor guy, man, this is in a lot of like moral turmoil and all that while just trying to keep his the newfound home of Earth safe and the people and everything, because he's adapted. He's like that plant. But then we get that, the yin and the yang, I guess, for lack of a better metaphor. At the scroll hideout, they show that they only grow pure vegetables from scrolls and all that from Scrollos. And so, they're trying to they want to be our way and not have to hide their skin and all that. But he's on the other hand of the coin saying that no, you can adapt. It can be different. We can like blend and be a melting pot of culture, as they always talk about in every history class in middle school growing up. So that's my take on why he's going through a hard time. Not at the top of his game either.
Okay.
This is going to be a tough show, I think. Just if they don't do a good job at really trying to explain some stuff because of all the spy and espionage. There's, when you watch a spy thriller movie, that is, a lot of stuff kind of makes sense as you go. There's usually a good plot twist or like, oh my God, they're actually double agent, triple agent, they're scroll agent. But when you have all this spread across over the next like month and 2 weeks or whatever, and each episode is an hour and you got to wait, I think it's going to make it, I mean, I think it's just a bigger undertaking to really tell a type of spy tale, at least in the MCU, that is. So there's a lot of, not baggage, but there's a lot of just lore and all that goes on from the decade plus of storytelling versus just a show and movie and whatever. Um, but I'm just really hoping the show really sticks the landing at the end of episode 6 and not just, we've been hyped. We've been hyped. The scrolls are here. Can we trust them? Can we trust anyone? And then it turns out we couldn't trust that the show is actually going to deliver on the promise of being Secret Invasion. That's really good. So that's my only part with this, but overall, I feel pretty satisfied already. I do love having a darker show after what we've kind of watched. So I think this is the first show since She-Hulk, right? Am I forgetting one? Yeah.
Yep.
Which is wild. So wild. I thought we would have had What If season 2 before this, but doesn't seem like it.
Oh man, I wanted that so
I know,
bad.
Louie. I know you did. Fear not.
Said only Michael from the
I
Star
dare you to say
Wars
that.
podcast.
Alrighty. What other thoughts do you have on this episode?
I just, as far as first episodes go, it was fine. I don't know much about the Secret Invasion comic, so I don't really know where this is going.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up because I found out today that Marvel Studios, whoever they are, told the director and producer of the show, basically, don't read the Secret Invasion comics. Don't read that comic event because it has nothing to do with our Secret Invasion. And I saw the comments were just like you imagine, a shit show. I'm in both kind of fields. I think it's important to still know the source material just to, because sometimes you can pull like a cool little nod to it. You can, understand what that story was. What were the implications? How did it unfold? Just know. And I think the counter argument here is, yeah, it kind of makes sense that you don't really have to read it because, or it's very optional reading that no one does, is because all of our heroes and then some, like Iron Man's still alive, Captain America's still not on the moon. All these heroes like Luke Cage and Jessica Jones have a baby in it, all that. Like there's a lot of people. All this like Elektra and Jessica Drew, Spider Woman and everything. They play a pretty big role in the Secret Invasion event. So that's why I'm like, okay, I got a point. And MCU is set up much differently, but I think you should still read it. I mean, that's why I still get pretty pissed about Multiverse of Madness that although, yes, they were still wrapping up filming on WandaVision and all that, but you know what was done so they could shoot the fucking episodes? It's called a script. And you know what you do? You read the goddamn thing. And that way, you know what the fuck is going on before your movie. So, I don't know, one of your pivotal fucking characters has a little bit of connective tissue and makes sense. I'm just saying, not that hard. Anyways.
Yeah, I think Wanda in WandaVision was a Skrull. And Wanda in Multiverse of Madness was actual Wanda.
How dare you?
There's your connective tissue.
It's actually Vision. Vision Skrull.
The problem with this show, that I said that wrong. A problem I can see arising is that the big hitters, I feel like, aren't going to be in this show. So it's not like when you're reading the comic book and you find out, oh my God, Elektra's been a Skrull this entire time. Or you're not going to see Spider-Man or Shang-Chi or anybody. I don't think anybody's going to be in this show other than who we've already seen. Maybe get a little Captain Marvel reference. You say you say that Talos's death is going to make Gaia break good. For me, I feel like Fury or something. I feel like at some point Tiana Paris,
Mhm.
Monica Rambeau is going to appear for whatever reason,
That'd
for
be kind of
some
cool.
fashion. And those two were friends when they
Mhm.
were kids. You remember they were like playing together, and that's why they were like, we can stay on
Yeah.
Earth, you know? So I feel like seeing her would kind of make her like, oh, humans aren't so bad. Maybe we shouldn't rule the Earth. This was my friend. Blah, blah, blah.
Mhm.
I don't know. But as far as like the invasion and who's a scroll, it's like right now we're just dealing with people that we've never seen before. You just said Ben Mendelsohn took over somebody's identity in Captain Marvel, and I literally have no recollection of that at all.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
The fact that Ben Mendelsohn himself was in Captain Marvel, no clue. I thought he just assumed a human form in the 30 years that he's been there, and luckily enough, it's just to him.
Nah.
So I just don't think the stakes are as high in this show as they would be for like the comic book, when you're
Mhm.
finding out fucking Spider Woman is a scroll, and Captain America or whoever. You know what I mean. But in this, it's like fucking Ted has been a scroll this whole time. It's like, who gives a shit about Ted? Well, Ted is Man Thing. So let's go with
Now that'd be a crazy scroll.
Bob. Fucking Bob's been a scroll this whole time. So it's just, it doesn't hold the same weight to
Mm.
me. In my mind, the show can only like you said, Gravik is going to impersonate
Mhm.
Fury, take out the president, frame Fury for murdering the president of the United States, and then Fury's going to kill Gravik, and then now you just have Fury the fugitive for the 1 millionth time in the MCU.
Yeah. That's why I feel like
Am I wrong?
you're not wrong at all. I think based off of context clues from the Marvels trailer, we see him back on Saber. So my guess would be that however this show is going to conclude, Fury's name is going to be cleared, and it's going to be clearly evident that it was, the Skrulls. Now, what that means for the future of the Skrulls, that's really the good question here. That's the thing I'm very curious about, because if a lot of them have turned and they are trying to cause, human extinction so they can take over this planet and all that, our good guys usually win at the end. What happens when the good guys win? Ergo Fury and the human race, apparently. What happens to these Skrulls? Are they going to get booted the fuck off planet? Are they all going to be sentenced to death? What's going to happen to these Skrulls that are part of this rebellion? That's what I want to know. That's what I'm curious about.
Right now, the MCU has so many things going on.
Yeah.
And I feel like this is another thing. And it's just like, just another thing, man. Like, you got the Flag Smashers over there. You got the Skrulls over here. You got the Eternals up there. You got these guys over here and this over there. And don't forget about Loki doing his
Mhm.
thing. And then Thor is off doing his thing. And it's just like, at some point, you're just shaking. Like,
What's going on?
can we wrap up something?
Honestly,
Yeah.
it's a very fair point, because there was that news report that came out earlier this week that said that insiders have confirmed that Marvel Studios is not going to be presenting at Hall H this year in San Diego Comic-Con. They're going to be present there on the show floor, but they're not doing a presentation. A lot of that is probably due to a handful of things. Jonathan Majors, his court date isn't until I think early August, so that'll be pretty sure that's past. Yeah, it's past Comic-Con. But then the biggest thing, of course, is all the strikes going on in Hollywood. The writer's strike, I don't think the Directors Guild is striking, which I guess is going to make this go longer, unfortunately. And I think the Actors Guild is going to be potentially striking soon. Who knows how long this fucking going to happen? But the problem with all this is that how do you tie up all this shit in the fucking Marvel cosmos right now? How many times have we seen hints of a new Young Avenger member out of all of Phase 4 and part of Phase 5 already? How many times have we seen, Valentina? How many times have we seen? The list goes on. When does this all come true? I mean, they already pushed back, I think, by a year already. King Dynasty and Secret Wars. So we're going to be even older. So it's, man, and then there's that stuff that's going on, accusations with Namor now. And man, dude, I feel so bad for Kevin Feige. I wouldn't be surprised after Phase 6 he's done. And we might be in a weird spot. I don't know. I think he just might feel like, I need to not have a heart attack before I die.
I hate all of this money that I have. I'm done.
No, I don't even think it's because of a money thing. If there's anyone who actually is super, super, super passionate behind what they're doing and the money is not even close to on the list, it's got to be Kevin Feige and then James Gunn. However, it's not even the money. It's not even just how much passion you have. It's also, look who's, who can you trust, right? How many fucking times has Disney, like the overarching umbrella, really made their content suffer because of their greedy, necessities? That's what happened with Star Wars. That's what's happened with all these fucking shows. They really wanted, hey, Disney Plus, we need a Marvel show every, 2 months. We need all this shit for Phase 4, and that's why we got just content. And now here we are in this crickets and dry spell and everything going on. Oh, by the way, AI is causing big arguments and everything. Also, these writer strikes. Also, this and that and blah 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 blah. So it's not helping a huge goal of the MCU with what they're trying to set up for Secret Wars and all that. I mean, some of it you really can't even, like, who would have thought Jonathan Majors was going to get in such controversy right after finally taking the limelight and being announced and shown like he's a big effing bad. And who knows what's going to happen to his fate. It sounds like it's not looking up, but I don't know. That's my soapbox.
You're good. You're good. I don't see what this show's going to do. Like you said with the scroll, what do you do with the scrolls? I don't think you Holocaust the scrolls. You said kill them off. Dear God, no. I don't think that's
let me preface that actually. I'm not saying that like, hey, you guys were bad. You tried to kill us. We're just going to say bam, 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 and kill you. No, I'm just saying like something like the battle gets so bad that all of them kind of die or something happens like that. I'm not trying to think anyone's trying to like say,
I doubt it.
Kill everyone just by punishment.
I don't have a good answer. I feel like in this show, to get us ready for the Marvels at some point, Captain Marvel, or like I said, Tiana Paris,
Sure.
Paris, Monica Rambeau. At some point, she'll come in and they finally found a planet or a habitable something or something for the damn Skrulls. I don't understand how after living on Earth for 30 years or whatever the hell long it's been, they're all just like, I hate it here.
Mm-hmm.
There's no good things here. It's like, you have a whole ass planet. There's nothing that you enjoy about this. We're not in charge. I mean, who cares? Just, I'm not saying you gotta, be humans, but just kind of, you've been here basically your whole life, and now you're just like, Fury lied to me. I should be on a different planet now. Do you want to be on a different planet that fucking badly? You're fine here.
Well,
I don't see a big. Obviously, there was a blip.
I got a couple points, but I'll let you finish in case I want to interject.
No, I'm pretty much done. I just, as far as what you do with the scrolls, I feel like once you take down the regime of shit scrolls, and you take down the Koba of it all, the rest of the apes kind of fall in line and be like, oh, you know what? This place ain't so fucking bad.
Mm-hmm.
We're shapeshifters by nature. That's just what we do. I mean, I don't think it's going to be like Luca where they just accept sea monsters at the end and then they're just going to walk around as aliens scaring the living shit out of literally everybody.
Well, yeah.
But
so
go
your
ahead.
first point.
I'd love to hear your rebuttal.
Nah, you're okay. Sometimes I think it's in my new, my internet too. I can't tell when people are actually done or not sometimes.
No, you're good.
I think you're pretty spot on about Monica Rambeau showing up over Captain Marvel or someone else. I think that'd probably be the best cameo, especially because of the tie that she had with the childhood connection with Gaia. So I didn't even think about that. So that happens. I think you get the told you so badge. Now, with the Skrulls feeling this resentment and wanting to cause, this cataclysmic event so they can take over, I think it makes sense. If you have people who've been growing up not in their own skin, not having anything that was, from their home world. I mean, literally, there's a couple examples here. Well, planet Earth is pretty fucking racist, still to this day, unfortunately. So there's a couple kind of race themes we get in this episode. You might not think about it, but it's there. The first thing is how many times people are like telling Fury when he says, I'm going to take a walk. They're like, you're going to take a walk alone at night in Russia. Well, Russia apparently doesn't really have a very dense black population. So when he's walking around and he sees these people, especially that little girl, just stop and like look at him, I don't think that girl was a Skrull at that point. I think she was literally just a girl because her mom was like, hey, come on. She's never seen a black guy before. And also he's just walking around at night too. So bad things can happen. But that's just one person who's been on planet Earth for a while, an entire, race and ethnicity. And then you have all these aliens. And then we've seen how humans treat their own with the Flag Smashers and their cause. But now imagine you have these green reptilian looking aliens who are very strong, can shapeshift and all like that, just walking around on Earth. Why would people in the history that we have and the evidence we have, why would they want to be accepting, you know what? Okay, you're entirely from a different planet. Okay, fine. Hopefully we would. In a perfect world, yeah, we are accepting. That's great. But this is our fucking reality. Fortunately, people are fucking racist. And I don't think that would ever change in the slightest for aliens, especially in Skrulls. So I think that's partially why it's a theme here too. You can't be comfortable in your own skin. You can't do the things you want that's from your actual culture and from your home world. It's gone. And I think after a while, I think this is why it's happening 30 years later, that the younger ones are like, they didn't understand, or let's say half of them didn't have any recollection, whether they were not born on Skrullos or whatever. But they're just like, they're tired of it. They want to have their own culture, not feel like they always have to hide. I mean, they're literally hiding in these places that humans physically cannot go to, or else they will die tragically and terribly, unless, they weren't radioactive. So, or mutated. So I think that's like my overall point. I think it's just that makes sense for why the Skrulls have this kind of decision on why they want to go crazy and kill and just they want to have their own planet. But I can't see a reason why they should just be okay with it. Because I mean, just looking at the themes here and just kind of what we've seen in human history makes sense that they'd be like, yeah, fuck it, we want something else. But sometimes you get into a violent group. And also, the last thing I thought of when you were talking about the Skrulls and themselves, I keep forgetting Saber has a shit ton of scrolls on it. So I imagine those are not part of this rebellion. That maybe they know a little bit about it, but I don't think they are of the same mind set that the rebels have. They're working with Fury. They're working with, maybe there are some other humans on that ship. Who knows? But I think if they're the ones who are disconnected from there, maybe that's why these younger scrolls have a little bit more of an uprising, because the older people and all that who aren't trying to like seek vengeance on Earth and take it over are out doing other things in space. So I guess that's maybe why Talos is a little outnumbered here at the moment. But still, a lot of this hopefully gets cleared up as the episodes go on and the 5 episodes left. So that's my take.
Now I'm not going to argue with you that humans are shitty. I think we're a terrible race of people.
Pretty bad.
I'd rather be a horse. Anyways, humans, they suck. But like, I guess all these younger generation, if you're, 3, 4, 5, 6, whatever the hell, and you move and you get kicked off of your planet and you have to go to Earth, and you just live your whole life as an earthling,
Sure.
as a
That makes
human,
sense.
I guess. At some point, that's just what you know.
Mm.
And to be like fighting to just leave the only thing that you know blows my mind. Obviously, I have some friends that have always just been like, I need to get the fuck out of Illinois. And I get it. You gotta go somewhere else. But at least if you leave Illinois and you move to North Korea, right? You still have like basic human things there. And I lost my train of thought. I don't even know where I'm going with this. But like, that's what you know. And you go somewhere else, that's what you know. If the SKRULLs find another planet, right, a habitable planet, which means in my mind plants and water, right, they're not going to find a fucking as is planet where you just, oh hey, the old owners of this planet left and you guys just get all this fucking buildings and hospitals and shit. They're going to find like a big ass rock with soil and water, and they're just going to be like, we're going to start a new life. That sounds way worse than just living in a planet that's already established.
Well, I think the point is,
which is a weird thing to say on my end, but like, you got the SKRULLs who got kicked out of their planet and are living on Earth. You got the Asgardians who their planet blew up and they're living on Earth. And everybody's just in this big ass rush to find. And I get it. You want your own planet. You want your own stuff. You want your own stuff. I get that. I get that completely. But as a homeowner, it's like, if I lived in someone else's house, that would be way fucking easier than this, because this shit sucks.
Yeah.
So I guess I think from what I could tell, their end game right now is to not get their own planet. It's to take over Earth. Is that?
Well, that's what I'm kind of wondering too.
They're trying to like.
Well, it's not so much that.
Are they trying to mass homicide the humans?
That's what I said. It's gonna. That's why.
Is that what it is?
Talos says when they show that plan that the one agent gets killed.
Oh, he says that your
species.
Your species will cease to
because
exist.
He's trying to take the 2 biggest powers nations who are notorious for having tons of nuclear weaponry. They're going to try and set it off. And if America and Russia did go to war and shit got bad, then that's 100% would probably happen. But the SKRULLs setting up for a nuclear war makes sense because they told us in this episode they can handle the radiation. Humans, we can't. So if their plan is to just nuke the world, make it so humans literally just can't live on anymore, SKRULLs, they're gonna be like, all right, man, we're good. I can take it. Bye bye. But the thing that not confuses me, but I'm pondering, we have seen so many freaking planets and worlds or just random things so far in the MCU in this entire vast galaxy. 30 years and they haven't found a single planet other than Earth that they could have taken the scrolls to. Now that is kind of
5 of those years.
okay. So 25
there
years.
was a problem. Granted, 25 years is still a long ass time, but you take the 5 years, you take the however many years it's been since the blip. I'm sure they're still working on trying to fix whatever that was. Let's call it 20 years. That's still a shitload of time.
Yeah.
And Captain Marvel's, that's like where she's been. That was the whole thing. It's like, where's Captain Marvel been? She's trying to find a home for the Skrulls. How bad are you finding home for, like, Jesus, you're the worst real estate agent of all time, Captain Marvel, goddamn.
Yeah, that's funny. Exactly, man. So it is.
We should get a shirt made up of that, man. Captain Marvel, the worst real estate agent of all time.
Trying to get your home sold in a hurry? Have no doubt. Go to Fury. Yeah, that was bad. I'm not gonna lie. Thinking about it too, it's like, what the fuck has she been doing since Captain Marvel until she shows the hell up in Endgame? It's
tired of sleeping in your camper. Call Carol Danvers, the worst real estate agent of all time.
Also, I just don't even think about it now. Just like, what is she even doing? How has no one questioned what the fuck she's been doing for over 2 decades? And we're just been like, oh yeah, she's been helping people. Okay, and so like
she's been fighting the Kree or whatever, I guess.
It's another group of people I always wonder if they're going to bring back to be villains somehow. I don't think so, but if they do, it's going to be something really lackluster. I don't know. I really don't know.
There you go. The Kree, the Flag Smashers, the Tracksuit Mafia, the fucking... For a long time, the only loose end we had was Homie from the Hulk. Mm-hmm. They're bringing him back just to make another loose end, fuckers.
Well, we got a lot to figure out as these episodes go on. But, I will say, even though there's kind of some hesitation that you and I both kind of have of like, where are you really trying to take us after these 6 episodes are over? What are you really trying to set up here? What are you trying to contribute to the story? I feel so happy that we're finally getting a new show after all, since almost a year ago with She-Hulk wrapping up. It feels good to be watching something new. I do love seeing Fury back in action because I've always loved Sam Jackson's portrayal of the character. He's always been so snarky and I just love it. He's a badass. So I'm excited to hop on the ride here and see what it takes us. But I do think that it's still fair that you and I both have our criticisms for the show, and it's good. We can't just be rolling over our back and say, okay. Because the whole point of the show, who do you trust? Do we trust them to tell us the story in a good way? Do we trust anything? Get your tinfoil.
We'll see where it goes. Right now, I just feel like I'm pushing through again. Every show, I feel like every show, it's just like, well, gotta watch it so we can talk about it on the podcast. Yeah. Like Loki was good, Hawkeye was good. Those were the ones that I was like pumped for. And then like She-Hulk, I was like, well, She-Hulk night. Miss Marvel, I was like, oh, it's fucking Miss Marvel night. Mm-hmm. I think Miss Marvel came out at the same time as Stranger Things. Oh, yeah. So it's really hard to not be like, well, I'm just going to watch Stranger Things because that show fucking rules. And Miss Marvel is fucking dog water, as you said earlier. I don't know. I'm not a big shows guy. They did so well for 3 whole fucking phases. Marvel phase 1, 2, 3. Fucking chef's kiss. This shit, I don't know, man. struggling. The movies, I come on here every time we see a movie and I'm like, that movie was fucking sick. Ant-Man and the Wasp was sick. Fucking Thor Love and Thunder was sick. Fucking Eternals was a movie. I just slapped the shit out of my cord. Fucking Black Panther was Namor was cool. M'Baku was awesome. Then we watched the shows and I'm like, it
is draining. I mean, it felt like a marathon for the last 2 years.
That's my little rant that you
I heard from people who got screeners for the show.
Oh, I can't hear you.
Louie unplugged himself.
When I slapped my cord, it came out of my hole.
You have holes? Your holes?
Get back in your hole.
Holes? How many holes does a scroll have?
I can hear you now.
A scroll hole. What I have heard from people who got to watch the first 2 episodes, that's all they got for screeners so far. And people were raving about the first 2 episodes. So I think the second episode is going to be equally as, goosebumps and spy, espionage, and thrilling, thrill, ding dong. I don't know. It's going to be good. So hang on, Louie. And if you're feeling anything like Louie is here, hang on. Hopefully it'll be good. But just remember, you can't trust anyone. Not even me. Not even us.
I watched every episode of What If. I'm not going anywhere.
I love you, Louie. So I think that's pretty much it for this episode. I think we talked about all that we can and what we want to cover. But looking forward to the future. Now, 2 things I did forget to mention. First was there is a Stan Lee documentary that is on Disney Plus now. It dropped on June 16th, 616. And I watched it. It actually was pretty good. I saw there's a lot of criticism from the families, from like Jack Kirby and Stan Lee's sides, and take them as you will. But the documentary overall was very, very entertaining, and it's only like an hour and 20 minutes. So go check it out. Other thing is, we got some sick ass artwork to celebrate Secret Invasion. We posted on our Instagram, Facebook, and all that, and our Discord too. I'll have a link to it somewhere to go check it out. But Louie, I love it. I love it. I love it. Shout out to Jacob Crump, who did the artwork for us. He does some incredible MCU and Marvel comic themed artwork, and definitely go check out his account and all his stuff. And that artwork, it's going to be on a t-shirt here once Devin stops procrastinating all his other Earth 894 related content creation, and it'll be in the store, and we'll let you know. Hopefully it'll be like a discount code or something, so knock off some of that good old t-shirt price. But that thing, as you say, chef's kiss, I want it on a poster, so I'm going to make sure we put it as a poster in our store too. I want to hang that motherfucker right on that wall spot, right over there, because I love you and I as Skrulls. Oh, I love it. Louie is dumbfounded.
I have our original logo in my desk.
Yeah, I always love seeing that when I come over.
My desk is a plexiglass thing. Yeah. It's like front and center.
Well, Louie, any final thoughts before we get off this episode and hide from the Skrulls?
Well, since we're in the closing minutes and nothing matters, I will shamelessly plug. If you do enjoy listening to my sultry voice, I just started a third podcast. Oh my God. What am I doing?
For the hat trick.
Yes. So my wife and I are on a weight loss journey, and that can be said about literally my entire life. So now we're doing a podcast together where we're going to hold each other accountable for the weight that we've lost. I was at work one day and I was tired and slow and fat and gross, and I hate everything about me. And I said, you know what? I'm 28 years old. I don't want to be the biggest, fattest person I know my entire life. So I promised myself I would lose 100 pounds by the time that I turned 30. So Devin and I will be 29 in August. So that gives me, a year and 2 months or whatever. I got a little kickstart because I wasn't going to be so disgusting all the time. So if you're interested in all, it's called Chasing Wonderland. Chasing, obviously. Wonderland is ONE1, and then Derland, DERLAND, Chasing Wonderland. It's available on most podcasting platforms, the big ones, Apple, Spotify, Amazon, Stitcher. Yeah, basically wherever you're listening to this show right now, other than YouTube. Sorry, we've only got one episode out. I've gotten so much great feedback. If you're interested at all, please check us out. Let me know what you think. Yeah, we'll do. Right now we're thinking Fridays, but I'm very much leaning towards changing it to Mondays.
Mondays for the release or your check-ins? Because you said you check in on the Monday, right? But you're recording on Fridays?
We do check in on Monday and record on Friday. But I think I would rather just record the day of the weigh-in. Because, I don't know. Let's be real. I weigh in every morning because I'm obsessed. I'm an obsessed boy. But I don't know. Plus, Fridays is like, if I want to go out with my wife and call a babysitter, you're not going to go out any other day. So it'd have to be Friday. Regardless, right now it's Fridays. Yeah, check us out if you so wish.
And I will second that notion because I did listen to it while I was in the gym. And Louie, I will say credit to you and Hannah. That's a very noble way to kind of, document your journey. But I also found it very inspiring because you were talking about, like, I haven't had the same kind of experience that you guys have with like having children. How does that affect your weight too? I mean, not many people might think about it, but it's a reality. And just hearing your experiences so far and your motivations and your goals and all like that was very humbling. And also, like I said, it was very inspirational for me to hear about it too. So I was pumping away in the gym, finally got my butt in there because I'm trying to get into Devin dating mode. So ergo, Devin needs to have a little bit body mass.
Hashtag swipe right. Is it
Sure.
right? I've never done it. Swipe the good
I'm
way.
also trying to go on the ass because I need to find out who are the Skrulls. Are you a Skrull? But yeah, so props to you guys for launching the podcast. I'll be tuning in every week. So if you guys want to check it out, definitely go in our show notes. We'll have a link for Louie and Hannah's podcast. So congrats on your third one, baby.
Whoop, whoop.
Hell yeah,
Thank
man.
you so much.
All right, this is Earth 894. We would love it so much if you trust us. We trust you. Right now we do. If you gave us a 5-star review on your podcast player of choice, if it offers it, like Spotify, give us 5 stars. We love those. We got a 5.0 rating. It's like an Uber rating. People like to brag about it. We like to brag about our 5-star rating on Spotify. Please don't be the jackass who gives us anything lower than Apple Podcasts. Those 5 stars go a long way.
Oh,
Scrolls. We don't like those. We love scrolls. We don't love trolls. But yeah, 5 stars, and give us a little comment on our review, and we'd love to give you a shout out on a future episode like we have for people in the past. So definitely help us out. Helps us stay on track of our scroll watch. The more reviews we get, the more scrolls we can identify. And always, if you want to listen to any other episodes, go to earth894podcast.com. Full catalog is available for you there, or any podcast app you can scroll through, but go to our website. It's got cooler stuff, and it looks a little bit nicer. And keep your eyes and ears peeled for when we announce when the hell our merch store will have our sick-ass scroll artwork. Oh, I love it. I love it. Alrighty, Louie. We are out. Scroll Watch will commence next week when episode 2 drops. Be safe. Be aware. Don't be scared.
Dad.
Bye now. Like, Jesus, you're the worst real estate agent of all time, Captain Marvel. Goddamn.